Okay.
But yeah, no, that's ridiculous. Yeah, you need to just get a nice little ball python. They just sit
See, that's
there.
what I'm
That's
saying.
they don't do anything. They just hang out.
Literally, that's what I was saying. And he said, no, it's going to eat the baby. It's going to eat Spike. It's going to eat everything in sight. And I'm like, no, that's not true.
No.
Hey, Shannon, I'm gonna send you something. It's called, stop it. It's called Morph Market.
Okay.
And Letty. And basically, it just, a morph is like the color.
Oh, these guys. The flu. Jules, Scott, Sarah with the pink hand. Does YouTube have wild emojis I don't know about? Oh, I'm ignoring you guys, sorry. I should mute. Oh wow, shocking.
Oh, wow.
So kind. So kind. I'm so glad we live together.
Hypocrisy.
This is beautiful. Cat, I just got your message.
Beautiful. Joe, I'm gonna give you one more go before I send Letty up there with you so that she can bite your kneecaps the whole time.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
I love it.
I concede.
Do it. Do it. I love chaos. Do it. Send it.
We will get nothing done
chaos
tonight. He sends the puppy up here. Nothing will get done.
Send the puppy. Release the puppy.
Release the
I
puppy.
just released it outside, so she is everybody else's problem
Good.
now.
Good.
Bye, small one.
That dog is... all that dog does is bite. Just bites.
Okay, well then release the puppy. It's fine. All will be well.
I mean, it will be, yeah.
If we keep her.
Yeah, we probably have to, though. Jalen!
Keep the puppy. Do it. Love the puppy.
I know, we probably will. We probably will. It's a good puppy. It's a good puppy. All right, we're gonna go relatively quick tonight because I gotta be off like right around 7. So within the next minute or two, we're just gonna start going. I think
Okay,
we're in the right spot.
Mute myself.
Yeah, go
y'all.
ahead.
So the dogs are doing dog things.
Shocking.
Yeah.
What are all these?
Oh my God! Wait, Joe. Can I
Emojis.
have
What?
the snake playpen? Can you put it outside?
Yeah. Hold on.
You're beautiful. Thanks.
Hold on, guys.
Sorry, everyone. I need my playpen for my snakes.
You're welcome. Okay. My dog broke off his lead to chase another bad puppies. That's good puppies. That's puppy doing puppy stuff. That's to be expected. Ghostgate. Yo, where are all these emojis at? That's a kitten in a box. That is arguably the greatest emoji I've ever seen. That's awesome. Where do you guys find these? Can I search kitten in a box? Will it come up? Cat? It does. Found it. Kitten in a box. That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Joe, you seem very easily amused.
Yeah, kind of. Kind of. I'm not hard to make happy. Oh, my kitten in a box is different than Ghostgate's kitten in a box. That means there are several kittens in boxes. Which is fantastic. That's fantastic. What a great night. Yeah, Sarah, actually, that was one of the things I was going to talk to you about. Because our emojis, like, don't make any sense. Because I just found them and uploaded them because I could. So, yeah, I'm sure we can find way better ones. That, like, better relate or would, like, or give people options of reacting to things in a way that makes more sense. Because I have, like, SpongeBob and stuff in there. I don't know. It's just random stuff I found and downloaded. Jalen, you should have them. You just gotta search. I searched cat, and then I got exactly what I wanted. Got exactly what I wanted. I gotta think there's like some, Christian themed emoji packs out there that we could find and throw in Discord, I'm sure. Ghost Gate sounds good. Sounds lovely. Yeah, get in there. It's a lot going on in there. It's overwhelming sometimes because you guys have so many different things going on. But anytime I look, it's like real good stuff. Real good stuff's being talked about. Always more emojis. Is that Teal Arc Flash? How many YouTube channels do you have? I feel like every other week you're on a different stealth channel. Is it? So I'm just crazy? Okay. You win. I could have swore you had a different name one week. But I'm sure that I'm just not remembering right. You are the emoji finder. That is true. Oh, see? It is a different YouTube. I'm not crazy. I'm minorly crazy, not majorly crazy. All right, what time is it? 6:05? She has 2? Okay, well, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. Well, we'll give it like 1 more minute, but I want to make sure I at least throw some stuff up here. All right, because I think there's a few of you in here right now who are not on Discord. So do that. I'll throw a link in there in just a second. But if you don't know Discord, there's a bunch of tutorials all over the place. There's also a tutorial that I did, so it's idiot proof because I knew nothing about it. Right here, when you come in and you're in the little welcome section at the top, there's a very short mobile video of me just explaining the super simple stuff about how to deal with it. And then the rest of it you'll catch on, man. It's like anything else. But you got channels on the side, off topic, theology, Bible, conspiracy, culture, news, yada, yada, everything's there. And then arguably the most important part to me is down here where the red dots are on Sunday and on Thursday if you want to speak. Sunday, we don't do it so much other than before. But Thursdays, after I give the whole spiel, the lecture, or whatever you want to call it, then we open it up. So if you want to actually come on and talk, then all you have to do is be in this channel where everybody's at right now. And then raise your hand in the YouTube chat. And then when it's time, I will issue the warning. I'll unmute you and then, you can talk. Thursdays are meant to be a conversation. That's the whole point. So if that's something you're interested in, get in the Discord and then you'll be able to do it from there. Otherwise, they got a whole bunch of stuff going in here. Anything you could possibly want to talk about is pretty much, it exists now. So if you haven't jumped in there, jump in there. I'll throw a link in the chat right now. And then we'll get to reading because I do have to be off right around 7 tonight. So there's a link that'll get you in. All right, where's the Bible at? Here's the Bible. So this was my favorite thing we've read so far. This highlighted verse. Then I answered him saying, I wish to know about everything, but especially about this tree. I swear, if I ever get tattooed again, which I don't really care to, but if I do, I would love to get that verse tattooed on me. That's a fabulous verse. 7 p.m. Yeah, Sarah. So, which means it'll probably be 7:15, 7:20 at best. At best. If we do end up having any of the voice chat go live tonight, just keep in mind, try not to swear. Be mindful about what you say. If people start coming on here and saying inappropriate things that get me in trouble, then I'm gonna have to shut the whole thing down, and I don't want to do that. So if you ever do come on, please just be mindful of what you say and how you say it. All right, we are past this though. We are on chapter 26, and that is right here. You got 1. And I went from there to the middle of the earth. Remember, he's embarking on this journey, this very, very wild, mystical feeling journey. I went from there to the middle of the earth and saw a blessed place in which there were trees with branches alive and blooming on a tree that had been cut down. You got an author's note. The hollow earth theory, we read this actually, so a little bit of recap. The hollow earth theory has been espoused by various groups throughout history. The theory was used to create the book and movie Journey to the Center of the Earth. I remember because we had a whole conversation about that movie. Somebody named an actor that I didn't know and was very upset that I didn't know this actor. I don't know names. If I saw their face, I'd probably remember. 3. And underneath the mountain to the east, there was a stream, and it flowed towards the south. And I saw towards the east another mountain, higher than this, and between them a deep and narrow valley. In it ran a stream underneath the mountain. And to the west of it there was another mountain, lower than the former, and of small elevation, so not so high, and a dry, deep valley between them. And another deep and dry valley was at the edge of the 3 mountains. And all the valleys were deep and narrow. He's very descriptive. Being formed from hard rock, and there were no trees planted on them. 6. And I was very amazed at the rocks in the valley. One thing just interesting as you read this author write, both here and in some of what we'll read realistically probably months from now, is nature is a big thing. The descriptive terms about nature, the going out of your way as an author or a storyteller to really lay out what nature looks like might be something to keep in mind. Obviously, it was important. It was something that he relied heavily on in descriptive terms that he didn't need to. It's not pertinent to theology. It's not pertinent to God, or is it? Because that's the way it's coming across. Enoch obviously thought these things were very important. Therefore, if we're going to read through Enoch's lens, consider nature very important. Then I said, what is the purpose of this blessed land, which is entirely filled with trees? And what is the purpose of this accursed valley between them? Then Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered and said, this accursed valley is for those who are cursed forever. Here shall all the accursed be gathered together, who utter with their lips words against the Lord, not befitting his glory, or say hard things against him. Here shall they be gathered together, and here shall be their place of judgment. In the last days there shall be a spectacle of righteous judgment on them, in the presence of the righteous forever. Here shall the merciful bless the Lord of glory, the eternal King. In the days of judgment they shall bless him for the mercy in that he has shown them. Then I blessed the Lord of glory, and set out his glory, and praised him gloriously. Chapter 28. Then I went towards the east into the midst of the mountain range in the desert, and I saw a wilderness. It was solitary, full of trees and plants, and water gushed out from above. Rushing like a torrent which flowed toward the northwest, it caused clouds and dew to fall on every side. Then I went to another place in the desert, and approached the east of this mountain range. And there I saw aromatic trees exuding the fragrance of frankincense and myrrh. Boom. There's a little key point. And the trees also were similar to the almond tree. Beyond these, I went far to the east, and I saw another place, a valley full of water, like one that would not run dry. And there was a tree, the color of fragrant trees was that of mastic. And on the sides of those valleys, I saw fragrant cinnamon. And beyond these, I proceeded to the east, and I saw another mountain. And among them were groves of trees, and there was nectar that flowed from them, which is named Sarara and Galbanum. And beyond these mountains, I saw another mountain to the east, the ends of the earth, on which there were aloe trees, and all the trees were full of fruit, being like almond trees. And when it was burned, it smelled sweeter than any fragrant odor. Interesting. When it was burned, why was it burned? In what context was it burned? Things that I would ask. Chapter 32. And after I had smelled these fragrant odors, I looked towards the north over the mountains. I saw 7 mountains. There's your numerology hit right there. 7 mountains full of fine nard and fragrant trees of cinnamon and pepper. And then I went over the summits of all these mountains, far towards the east of the earth, and passed over the Red Sea, and went far from it, and passed over the angel Zotiel. Got an author's note. The angel Zotiel, whose name means little one of God, welcomes back those sinners who have gone astray, but have repented. Based on the description of the locations, some have suggested the Sphinx could be a representation, although most believe this to be unlikely. That's an interesting note. A very interesting note, actually. And I came to the garden of righteousness. I saw far beyond those trees, more trees, and they were numerous and large. There were 2 trees there, very large, beautiful, glorious, and magnificent. Wow, the descriptive terms right there, man. The tree of knowledge, whose holy fruit, they ate and acquired great wisdom. There's your Genesis hit. That's worth highlighting for notes. That tree is in height like the fir, and its leaves are like those of the carob tree. And its fruit is like the clusters of the grapes, very beautiful, and the fragrance of the tree carries far. You got Isaiah 60:30, and I've got our Bible up here so we don't get stuck with the Old English. Enoch is hard enough to deal with. We don't need Old English on top of it. The glory of Lebanon shall come to you, the cypress, the plane, and the pine. Too beautiful the place of my sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious. I need to remember to put glasses on. Verse 6, back in Enoch. Then I said, how beautiful is the tree, and how attractive is its look! Exclamation. Then Raphael, the holy angel who was with me, answered me and said, this is the tree of wisdom, of which your father of old and your mother of old, who were your progenitors, have eaten. And they learned wisdom, and their eyes were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they were driven out of the garden. These are where you're getting your little clicks into the canon, so pay attention to those. Make note of those in your head. Chapter 33. And from there I went to the ends of the earth and saw their large beasts. It each differed from the other. And I saw birds also differing in appearance and beauty and voice, the one differing from the other. And to the east of those beasts, I saw the ends of the earth, where heaven rests on it. I would be interested to know how many times in all of the texts of Enoch, the ends of the earth is mentioned. Be very curious. It's got to be hundreds. And where the heavens rest on it, and the doors of heaven opened. And I saw how the stars of heaven come out, and I counted the gates from which they came out, and wrote down all their outlets of each individual star by their number and their names, their courses and their positions and their times and their months, as Uriel, the holy angel who was with me, showed me. He showed me all things and wrote them down for me. Also, their names he wrote for me, and their laws and their functions. From there I went towards the north, to the ends of the earth. And there I saw a great and glorious device at the end of the whole earth. That would be something to dig into, right? Glorious device. We're going to see if he expands on it. And if not, that is something that you always want to return to, do some outside research, try to figure out what exactly is he talking about. But I'm sure he explains. And here I saw 3 gates of heaven open. Through each of them proceed north winds. When they blow, there is cold, hail, frost, snow, dew, and rain. And out of one gate they blow for good. But when they blow through the other 2 gates, it is for violence and torment on the earth. And they blow with force. Then I went towards the west to the ends of the earth, and saw there 3 gates of heaven open, such as I had seen in the east. The same number of gates and the same number of outlets. And from there I went to the south to the ends of the earth, and saw there 3 open gates of heaven. And from them come dew, rain, and wind. And from there I went to the east to the ends of heaven, and saw here the 3 eastern gates of heaven open, and small gates above them. Through each of these small gates pass the stars of heaven, and they run their course to the west on the path which shone to them. I just realized the chat box is going right over the Bible. Sorry. Okay. Through each of the small gates pass the stars of heaven, and they run their course to the west on the path which is shown to them. And as often as I saw, I blessed always the Lord of glory, and I continued to bless the Lord of glory, who has done great and glorious wonders, who has shown the greatness of his work to the angels and to the spirits and to men. And they might praise his work in all his creation, that they might see the power of his might and praise the great work of his hands and bless him forever. The book of parables, chapter 37 through 71. The second vision which he saw, the vision of wisdom, which Enoch the son of Jared, the son of Mahalalel, the son of Canon, the son of Enos, the son of Seth, the son of Adam, saw. And this is the beginning of the words of wisdom, which I lifted up my voice to speak and say to those which dwell on earth, hear, you men of old time, and see, you that come after, the words of the Holy One, which I will speak before the Lord of spirits. The words are for the men of old time, and to those that come after. We will not withhold the beginning of wisdom from this present day. Such wisdom has never been given by the Lord of spirits, as I have received according to my insight, according to the good pleasure of the Lord of spirits, by whom the lot of eternal life has been given to me. Now 3 parables were imparted to me, and I lifted up my voice and recounted them to those that dwell on the earth. The first parable: when the congregation of the righteous shall appear, and sinners shall be judged for their sins, and shall be driven from the face of the earth. And when the righteous one shall appear before the eyes of the elect righteous ones, whose works are weighted by the Lord of spirits, light shall appear to the righteous and to the elect who dwell on the earth. Where will there be the dwelling for sinners? And where the will there be a resting place for those who have denied the Lord of spirits? It has been good for them if they had not been born. That's rough. That's very rough. Where will they be the dwelling for the sinners? And where the will there be a resting place for those who have denied the Lord of spirits? Question. It has been good for them if they had not been born. It means it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. John 1 through 5 out of the ESV. Oh, come on, baby. Help me out here. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. When the secrets of the righteous shall be revealed, and the sinners judged, and the godless driven from the presence of the righteous and elect, from that time, those that possesses the earth shall no longer be powerful and mighty, and they shall not be able to look at the face of the holy ones, because the Lord of spirits has caused his light to appear on the face of the holy, righteous, and elect. 2 Corinthians 3:18. But we all, with open face, beholding as in a glass the glory of God, are changed into the same image from glory to glory, even as by the Spirit of the Lord. Then the kings and the mighty shall be destroyed and be turned over into the hands of the righteous and holy. And from then on, none shall seek mercy from the Lord of spirits for themselves, for their life is at an end. And it shall come to pass in those days that the elect and holy children will descend from the high heaven, and their offspring will become one with the children of men. Interesting. Author's note on that. Here we have a verse that can be interpreted in various ways. Shocking. The holy children from the high heaven could be the spirits of the righteous dead. However, other verses seem to suggest those souls are being held until judgment. Enoch 38:1 mentions a judgment, and this could be Enoch 38:1 mentions a judgment, and this could be the one we seek to release the souls and make this verse mesh well. Interesting. I see that could definitely go either way. Other theories regarding this verse have been put forward by those who believe God will give his consent to angels that they may finally freely mix with people. That's a very interesting theology. This seems unlikely given the previous reaction. Lastly, those involved with UFO studies, here we go, baby, point to this verse as an indication of contact. That's a lot to deal with. That's a lot to try to unpack. And on that note, I'm going to pull the chat up real quick and make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, background music, that's the reason we got it now. We got the music because supposedly it helps. And I get told constantly that I don't do enough to to try to make social media work. So that's a little step I've tried to do to make things better. I just don't care enough, man. But I see the other side of that. Me not caring enough means people who could be here aren't here. And then we don't have probably some real cool people. So I just I hate doing social media. I hate giving into the algorithm, but it is what it is. He was being shown symbols that represent scientific concepts. This is something I've been realizing lately. Interesting. No line on the horizon. Yeah, Mikkel, I definitely see that for sure. I see that. It's my understanding of Sheol, everyone will go there and wait, then all will be judged once Jesus returns. Yeah, so I've mentioned it before, but that's one of these very common like misconceptions in the canon, is that Jesus went to hell and then came back. He didn't go to hell, he went to Sheol, which him going to hell makes no sense. If you actually read through all of it, it makes no sense with what Christians believe about hell and believe about kind of general theological themes within the New Testament. They all say that he absolutely didn't go to hell. It would not align with anything, but it would make perfect sense that he went to Sheol within the context of what he's talking about and what is said after the fact. It makes sense he went to Sheol. So I get why you would think that. I think that's a very common educated Christian view, is that most, if not everybody, goes somewhere that is kind of an in-between. Catholics, it's one thing Catholics have kind of had down the entire time, and so do some sects of Orthodox, is that purgatory, which arguably is Sheol, they just add other theological requirements to it, but it's basically Sheol. You go there, it's kind of like a middle ground, it's a waiting room, and then from there, you're either going to see the bad doctor or the good doctor, but it's kind of just your waiting room. Yeah, Mikkel, that wouldn't be a bad thing to do if you want to expand on that. All right, going back in. Let me get this Revelation verse up real quick. Oh, that's a big boy. All right. Yeah, that's where we are. All right, so we got Revelation 21, 1 through 5. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. And I saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, "Behold, the dwelling place of God is with man. He will dwell with them, and they will be his people. And God himself will be with them as their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain any more, for the former things have passed away." And he who was seated at the throne said, "Behold, I am making all things new." Also, he said, "Write this down, for these words are trustworthy and true." Back to Enoch. And in those days, Enoch received books of indignation and wrath, and the books of turmoil and confusion. There will be no mercy for them, says the Lord of spirits. I really actually like this. The Lord of spirits is it's a term. I'm sorry I haven't said anything till now, but the Lord of spirits is it's a term that you'll see pretty much only in apocryphal texts, if I remember right, and I could be wrong, but from memory, yeah, I see it at least most in apocryphal texts. And it's an interesting choice of words. And I it's one of these things that I also find interesting, why mainstream Christianity or canon Christianity, whatever you want to call it, why that was one of these things that was removed. And it seems subtle, but if we add it to the big list of things that we've already been discussing for weeks and weeks and weeks about removals from the canon, removals from Christian culture, it's the word spirit. What is the thing that we keep seeing removed? Things having to do with spirituality, things that are innately spiritual or blatantly or literally spiritual. Lord of spirits happens to be another, used to be very common term. Now you'll never hear that in any Christian setting, because any Christian setting uses these mainstream texts. All of the mainstream texts have removed the term Lord of spirits. So you'll see it only in apocryphal text, I think. I'm like willing to bet. And in those days, a whirlwind carried me off from the earth and set me down at the end of heaven. There I saw another vision, the dwelling places of the holy and the resting places of the righteous. Here my eyes saw the dwelling places of his righteous angels and the resting places of the holy ones. And they petitioned and interceded and prayed for the children of men. And righteousness flowed before them like water, and mercy fell like... Hold on. So I want to hit this just because we talked about prayer the other day on Thursday. And I like this. They petitioned and interceded and prayed for the children of men. So there's a spiritual, theological reference to prayer, both in petition, which we talked about, and intercession, which we talked about. So just an interesting note, something to be aware of. And mercy fell like dew on the earth. Thus it is among them forever and ever. And in that place, my eyes saw the elect one of righteousness and of faith. And I saw his dwelling place under the wings of the Lord of spirits. And the righteousness shall prevail in his days, and the righteous and elect shall be innumerable, and will be before him forever and ever. And all the righteous and the elect ones before him shall be as bright as fiery lights, and their mouths shall be full of blessing, and their lips shall praise the name of the Lord of spirits. Righteousness and truth before him shall never fail. There I wished to dwell, and my spirit longed for that dwelling place. And thus it was decided, and my portion was assigned and established by the Lord of spirits. That's kind of beautiful. In those days, I praised and exalted the name of the Lord of spirits with blessings and praise, because he had destined me for blessing and glory according to the good pleasure of the Lord of spirits. For a long time, my eyes looked at that place, and I blessed him and praised him, saying, Blessed is he, and may he be blessed from the beginning and forevermore. And his presence there is no end. He knows before the world was created what is forever and what will be from generation to generation. Those who do not sleep, bless you. They stand before your glory and bless, praise, and exalt you, saying, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of spirits. He fills the earth with spirits. Boom. Don't walk past it. Holy, holy, holy quotes something that's said by they, meaning multiple. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of spirits. He fills the earth with spirits. Not going to read that in anything we would normally read. Not going to hear that in a church, in a Bible study. You're just not. Just something to make note of. Just something to make note of. Spirituality. It is there. It exists. Arguably, it's pressed real hard in every theological text outside of the ones that we just happen to canonize. Okay, moving on. And here my eyes saw all those who do not sleep. They stand before him and bless him, saying, Blessed be you, and blessed be the name of the Lord forever and ever. And my face was changed, for I could no longer see. Did I skip something? No, okay. I could no longer see. Exodus 34:29. When Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the 2 tablets of the testimony in his hands, he was not aware that his face was radiant because he had spoken with the Lord. Chapter 40. And after that, I saw thousands of thousands and 10,000 times 10,000. I saw a multitude beyond number and reckoning who stood before the Lord of spirits. And on the 4 sides of the Lord of spirits, I saw 4 figures, different from those that did not sleep. And I learned their names. For the angel that went with me told me their names and showed me all the hidden things. You gotta think like these angels are basically his tour guides, right? And as he has questions, they answer them. As new things pop up or arise, they explain them. As different entities or individuals arise, they let him know what are the names of these people. Still, a funny thing to kind of keep in the back of your head is that we read previously that angels still kind of question Enoch, like, dude, why are you asking so many questions? And that's when he's like, I want to know everything. I desire to know everything. He was questioned by angels, though. The dude's inquisitive. It's what we should all aim to be. And I heard the voice, because he would not just accept it. Keep that in mind. He would not accept it. Angels weren't upset about it, but perhaps they weren't used to it. No, you could say whatever you want about it, but it's an interesting concept to not just let go. Enoch was wildly inquisitive. He wanted to learn everything he possibly could. And it seemed as if, arguably, the angels were kind of caught off guard by that. That's what we should aim to be. Ask questions about everything. Never take what you hear. And I heard the voices of those four presences as they uttered praise before the Lord of glory. The first voice, bless the Lord of spirits forever and ever. The second voice I heard blessing the elect one and the elect ones who depend on the Lord of spirits. And the third voice I heard, pray and intercede. There's your intercession again. For those who live on the earth and pray earnestly in the name of the Lord of spirits. So already too, and maybe I'm just thinking about it because we just talked about prayer, you have several very, very good, impossible to argue, cases for intercession as a valid form of prayer, right? We talked about, 6 different kinds of prayer. Petition was one. Intercession was one. We've hit on both of those now, basically verified, right? Because this is coming from a spiritual context. It's not from a human context. He's not talking about himself. He's not talking about other humans. He's talking about the spiritual realm, that which is outside of our earthly realm. And in that context, he's talking about intercession. So intercession, obviously, if you take any of this as valid or trustworthy, intercession would be a valid form of prayer. And I heard the fourth voice fending off the Satans, adversary or accuser. Just for anybody who may not be fully informed or who's new or is watching this later or whatever. Satan is not the name of a dude. It's one of these things that drives me absolutely insane about Christianity because we do this to ourselves. Satan is not the name of the mega demon, of the bad demon, the king of hell. It's not his name. Satan is a word that means something. They gave you the cheat sheet right there. It just means adversary or accuser. It basically means enemy, which is why, thankfully, Christians started saying the enemy, which I find a much more accurate and just all around better term for what we're talking about when we're talking about Satan. I don't like Satan because it's become a name. It's not a name. The forbidding them to come before the Lord of spirits to accuse them who dwell on the earth. Remembering too, Satan can be multiple entities because again, it's not a specific title of anybody. It's just a word that we basically co-opted in a way that made it seem like a name. So this could be an entity or it could be multiple entities. Within this context, they gave you singular and plural. Adversary or accusers. So it could go either way. It's very broad. After that, I asked the angel of peace who went with me, who showed me everything that is hidden. Who are these 4 figures which I have seen and whose words I have heard and written down? And he said to me, this first is Michael, the merciful and long-suffering. And the second, who is set over all the diseases and all the wounds of the children of men, is Raphael. And the third, who is set over all the powers, is Gabriel. And the fourth, who is set over the repentance and those who hope to inherit eternal life, is named Phanuel. And these are the 4 angels of the Lord of spirits and the 4 voices I heard in those days. And after that, how are we doing on time? Good. After that, I saw all the secrets of heaven and how the kingdom is divided and how the actions of men are weighted in the balance. Daniel 5:27, you are weighed in the balances and are found wanting. And there I saw the mansons of the elect and the mansons of the holy, and my eyes saw all the sinners being driven from there, which deny the name of the Lord of spirits. And they were being dragged off, and they could not live because of the punishment which proceeds from the Lord of spirits. John 14:2 and 3. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and will take you to myself, that where I am, you may also be. And there my eyes saw the secrets of the lightning and of the thunder, and the secrets of the wind, how they are divided to blow over the earth, and the secrets of the clouds and dew. And there I saw where they came from, and how they saturate the dusty earth. And there I saw closed storehouses, out of which the winds are divided. The storehouse of the hail and winds, the storehouse of the mist and of the clouds. And the clouds thereof hovers over the earth from the beginning of the world. And I saw the storehouses of the sun and the moon, where they go and where they come, and their glorious return, and how one is superior to the other, and their stately orbit, and how they do not leave their orbit. And they add nothing to their orbit, and they take nothing from it. And they keep faith with each other in accordance with the oath by which they are bound together. That's wildly poetic, and scientifically interesting when you think about the time that this was. Scientifically very interesting. And first, the sun goes out and traverses his path according to the commandment of the Lord of spirits, and mighty is his name forever and ever. And after that, I saw the invisible and the visible path of the moon, and she accompanied the course of her path in that place by day and by night, the one holding a position opposite to the other before the Lord of spirits, and they gave thanks and praise and rest not. But their thanksgiving is forever and ever. For the sun makes many revolutions for a blessing or a curse, and the course of the path of the moon is light to the righteous and darkness to the sinners, in the name of the Lord, who made a separation between the light and the darkness, and divided the spirits of men, and strengthened the spirits of the righteous in the name of his righteousness. Matthew 5:44 and 45. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be sons of your Father who is in heaven. For he makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain. Oh, mine cuts off. Sends rain and just on the just and the unjust. For no angel hinders and no power is able to hinder, for he appoints a judge for them all, and he judges them all himself. All right, let me see. Did Mikkel explain that? I'm curious to see what that answer was. See, all read that. I think it might be. I think that he'll maybe Earth after being judged. I don't think hell exists yet. Just a thought. Jalen, explain that. I'll see if I try to miss something. Yeah, where's Danny at? Graves, where's Danny at? Oh, I think that hell, I got you. I think that hell may be Earth after being judged. I don't think hell exists yet. Just a thought. So, Jalen, do you think hell is not a... It's hard with the wording, but we at least imagine heaven as like a place, right? A place or a placement in time somewhere on the continuum outside of, Earth, outside of our physical world. So do you believe heaven is still a place, or do you believe heaven is something entirely different? Am I wrong in saying most Christians they believe that hell is a place, right? That once you die, your soul, your spirit, whatever you want to call it, either goes to a happy place, to say it simply, or a very not happy place, again, to say it simply. I think that's my understanding of what most Christians believe. That's my understanding of what's taught as well, going through seminary. That's basically what's taught. Yes. Thought, consciousness, Lord of spirits. The Lord of spirits is Yahweh. It's too much to say here, but I'll give you some words and terms to research on your own. Yeah, you should do that, Ghost. If you throw all that stuff in the Bible section or in theology, depending, I don't know. That I'm sure everybody who is here would be interested to see whatever you got for that. Do the conversation to Discord, yeah, boom. Take that to Discord. I'd be interested to see what your view on all that is. But you're correct, 100%. It's thought and consciousness, which people will extrapolate to being Yahweh, right? A lot of Christians believe everything comes from, I mean, I'd say most Christians believe everything comes from God. So thought and consciousness would be a direct connection to God. Voice, what channel on Discord? Yeah, probably throw stuff like that in theology or in, yeah, probably theology, because Bible is canon. No line on the horizon is like saying there's no end on sight. Earths. What does that sound like? Flat Earth, anyone? Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it, but every time I read the ends of the earth, if you've ever been on TikTok, which I do not recommend, TikTok, get off of TikTok, go to YouTube. And you've gone down that rabbit hole, the wacky Christian TikTok rabbit hole, which I have been down. One, I do not recommend it, especially if you're kind of not very stable in what you believe. Don't go down that rabbit hole because it's full of absolute garbage. But every time you hear a flat earther come up who comes from a Christian perspective, it's 100% of the time they're quoting Enoch, saying the end of the earth, the end of the earth, the end of the earth. And then there's that. I think there's one other verse in the canon that talks about with the four corners, right? That one's always in there too. So I'm glad you said it, Mikkel, and not me. I decided to not. Just got a text from my dad. Mom is going to have full body MRI. Please include her in the prayers tonight. Jalen, we got you. I think I saw that pop up in Discord. There's definitely a theology channel in there. Ghost, I promise you. Yeah, Satan is a title. That's what we were talking about. Satan. It's a title. It's a title because we made it a title, though. I guess let me be clear. We made it a title. No, it's not a title. We theologically, or not theologically, religiously, we decided it was the title and made it a title. Prior to that, it was just a descriptive word. That's what it was originally. Ghost, you do not have to pay for anything to have access to Discord. That will never, ever, ever be a thing. If you choose to donate, you get access to something that is totally extra. You will never be restricted for not paying. That's not what we're here for. That will never be a thing. Don't ever disrespect me and ask this behind a paywall. Never. Some days I feel like we live a hell on earth. Yeah, well, there's a lot of people who believe that. There's a huge argument, and I think that's what Jalen was kind of saying, that people believe this is hell. We're in hell now. It's an interesting thought, and to a degree, I agree with it. But at the same time, then where do the sinners go after? You have to then account for that, which then becomes kind of confusing, right? It becomes a tougher theological argument. Imagine shame you have felt and then living with that forever, which would be the extension of hell, right? Which is the other, I'd say, more common view. Hell is here. Hell is right now. And then if you take that, when you die, being, a sinner or not being saved, whatever your personal theology on salvation is, you continue on in this hell, just, on a different plane of reality, or, whatever, however you choose to view that. The bot got moved, so it couldn't give the permission to apologize for the, oh, okay. Yeah, worshippers. Extrapolate on that. All right, I'm gonna keep reading. We got a little bit longer. But Ghost, you should definitely put that stuff into. I'd be curious to read what you got. 43. And I saw other lightning and stars of heaven, and I saw how he called them all by their names, and they obeyed him. And I saw how they are weighted in a righteous balance according to their proportions of light. I saw the width of their spaces and the day of their appearing, and how their revolution produces lightning. And I saw their revolution according to the number of angels, and how they keep faith with each other. And I asked the angel who went with me, who showed me what was hidden, what are these? And he said to me, the Lord of Spirits has shown you their parable. These are the names of the holy who dwell on earth and believe in the name of the Lord of Spirits forever and ever. Also, another phenomena I saw in regards to the lightning, how some of the stars arise and become lightning and cannot part with their new form. It's it's interesting to see like a lot of the chapters are very short, right? And then when you read it within its context, cover to cover, you see they're like journal entries almost. It's like he's popping in and like, oh shoot, I remembered this. I need to put this in. Oh, I remember this. I'm gonna add this in there too. It's not like, you know, the canon where it's been gone through and organized, and we won't get into it, but it's been gone through and organized, right? So Enoch isn't like that. They're like entries, and some are long, and you can see kind of goes on a tangent, very descriptive, sometimes talks in circles like Paul does. And then sometimes it's just like, oh, a sentence, 2 sentences. Just throw this in before I forget. And this is the second parable concerning, remember we got 3, concerning those who deny the name of the dwelling of the holy ones and the Lord of spirits. They shall not ascend to heaven, and they shall not come on the earth. Such shall be the lot of the sinners who have denied the name of the Lord of spirits, who are preserved for the day of suffering and tribulation. There is a reference to tribulation. That is something to make note of. On that day, my elect one shall sit on the throne of glory and shall try the works of the righteous. And their places of rest shall be innumerable, and their souls shall grow strong within them when they see my elect one, and those who have called on my glorious name. Then will I cause my elect one to dwell among them. I will transform heaven and make it an eternal blessing and light. And I will transform the earth and make it a blessing. And I will cause my elect ones to dwell on it. But the sinners and evildoers shall not set foot on it. For I have seen and satisfied my righteous ones with peace, and have caused them to dwell before me. But for the sinners there is judgment impending with me, so that I shall destroy them from the face of the earth. And there I saw one whose face looked ancient. His head was white like wool. And with him was another being whose countenance had the appearance of a man, and his face was full of graciousness, like one of the holy angels. Another being. Don't walk past it. And I asked the angel who went with me and showed me all the hidden things concerning that Son of Man, who he was, and where he came from, and why he went with the Ancient One. And he answered and said to me, This is the Son of Man who hath righteousness, with whom dwells righteousness, and who reveals all the treasures of that which is hidden, because the Lord of spirits hath chosen him, and whose lot has preeminence before the Lord of spirits in the righteousness, and is forever. And this Son of Man, whom you have seen, shall rise up the kings and the mighty from their seats, and the strong from their thrones, and shall loosen the reins of the strong, and break the teeth of the sinners. Brutal. Matthew 13:41. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity. I like this, because this is raw. This is brutal. He will break the teeth of the sinners. And he shall put down the kings from their thrones and kingdoms, because they do not exalt and praise him, nor humbly acknowledge who bestowed their kingdom on them. Interesting. Matthew 19:28. And Jesus said to them, Verily I say to you, that which you have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory. You shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And he shall make the strong hang their heads, and shall fill them with shame. The darkness shall be their dwelling, and worms shall be their bed. And they shall have no hope of rising from their beds, because they do not exalt the name of the Lord of spirits. They raise their hands against the Most High, and tread on the earth, and dwell on it, and all their deeds manifest unrighteousness. Their power rests on their riches, and their faith is in the gods which they have made with their hands. They deny the name of the Lord of spirits. So you've got a reference to idolatry there. And they persecute the houses of his congregations, and the faithful who depend on the name of the Lord of spirits. In those days, the prayer of the righteous shall be... Actually, how long is this chapter? This will be the last chapter. And then any chatting or things you guys want to throw out? Wait, Mikkel, Joe should stop right there to dedicate next week solely to the Son of Man appearance. Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe we'll stop right there. 6:50 anyways. Yeah, we'll stop right there. We'll pick back up at chapter 47 next Sunday. Also, I guess while we're here, all right, I'll go in and I'll put the poll up tonight because I want to leave more time for voting. So Thursday's little topic deal, for those of you who are new, because I know there's a few of you, it'll be in the Discord in the announcements section. When you sign up, click the alerts thing. And then anytime I post these, I'll tag anybody who has the alerts turned on, so you'll be notified. But this is how this works for every Thursday. I'm going to try to get these up by the end of every weekend now. I've been awful at it, but I'm going to try to get them up by the end of Sunday so that you have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to vote. And then Thursday, we do it. So there'll be a list of different topics. You just cast your vote by clicking the little buttons down here for whichever one corresponds with the topic you want. Whatever gets the most is what we do. I do not decide what we talk about on Thursday. So whatever wins, that's what we'll hit. Oh, I already did it for this week. I'm on top of it. I didn't even remember. And it looks like Flat Earth won. Are we seriously going to talk about Flat Earth? That was more of a joke than anything else. But I'm glad to know where your heads are at. Good deal. So Thursday, we will be discussing Flat Earth theory. And from a Christian perspective, Flat Earth theory. So we'll talk about some of the crazy TikTok stuff and how it correlates, what their arguments are. So for any of you guys who don't know me or didn't like watch stuff that I did a long time ago or anything, you don't need to. You'll get more doing this than watching old crap. But I'm not ever going to come here and tell you what to believe. I'm not ever going to come here and really half the time I'm not even going to tell you what I believe. I just don't think it's necessary. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to present one side of the aisle's argument and how they substantiate their side. And then I'll give you the other side of the aisle's argument and how they substantiate their side. That's the thing. Like, I don't feel the need to make people believe what I believe. I don't care what you believe. I care that you care to actually learn to figure out what you believe. I don't care where you land. What I'm not okay with is people just believing crap because some dude says so, because I say so, or because your pastor says so, or a professor in seminary says so. That aggravates the hell out of me. We don't do that. I'll lay out information. You are a functioning adult with a brain. Do the research, see where you land. But that's going to be how we're going to do it. So I'll present the flat earth theory from a Christian perspective, and I'll present the Christian perspective of people who do not believe in flat earth and why. So it'll be a head-to-head of verses, and we'll see where you land. This is one I'm definitely not going to give my opinion on because it's a heated thing, and I honestly just don't really care. I don't care if the earth is flat. It doesn't seemingly affect me, at least at this point in my life. So if it ever does, then I'll develop a very strong opinion, I'm sure. But at this moment in time, it does not. The earth is what the earth is. But it's interesting stuff, right? It'll be interesting to go through. I love watching flat earth stuff because some of it's very comical. And some of it, you're like, oh, that's actually kind of interesting. So we'll see. So with that, if any of you have any resources that you feel like would help us, that would be good, or that you want discussed specifically, whether it's a TikTok video or YouTube video, an article, Bible verses, whatever, you guys can all put that in, just put it in Discord and tag me and I'll find it. Yeah, do that. You can DM it to me, but I'll much more likely to see it if you tag me in it, in like theology or something. This is higher learning. That's right. This is the digging deep. Don't care what anybody believes. I care that you form an intelligent belief even if I totally disagree with you. As long as you formed it in an intelligent way, with information, spent the time, really developed the theory. I don't care if I think you're dead wrong. Proud of you. Keep doing that. The firmament is what gets me. If you look at the descriptions, there's no way we could get anything into space, so that debunks it for me. That debunks the firmament, or that debunks this idea that we've been to space, because that could go either way. I know plenty of real smart people who absolutely believe we've never gone to space. Equally, I know a bunch of real smart people who 100% think we've gone to space. So which side are you on, Jalen? Because that could go either way. It debunks the firmament. Okay. See, and as long as you get there because of valid things and not just because some dude told you, it's 100% cool. Again, the firmament is something I've spent some time on it. But my issue is this, guys. My issue is this. The government lies about everything. So why would I take their word about space? I don't. But there are other things to consider that maybe show we've gone to space. So I'm much more inclined to believe those things and put validity into those things. My issue is just I take absolutely nothing the government says is serious. And I'm not like a huge conspiracy guy. I just know that they lie. That's just a cold, hard fact. So I have a really hard time putting any sort of faith in anything that they say. This is kind of a general rule, you know. I would love to comment, but I can't. Yeah, you probably shouldn't. At least not at this point in time, right? Maybe in the future. 8 kilometers for cell phones, 180 kilometers to the moon. Half knot in the medium of radio waves. Gotta be honest, that went right over my head. I'm sure that's smart, though. I'm sure you're saying something real smart, but it's flying over my head. Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, well, guys, like 5-10 minutes tops. Anything else we want to throw out or chat about real quick, and then I'll be off for the night. But oh, me too. All right, but yeah, for the last time, because I know there's a few of you who have not been in. Get in Discord. I'll put another link out here actually right now, and then I'll very quickly kind of walk you through the Discord, because I know it can be super overwhelming, but it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be. So when you first come in, the first thing you really want to pay attention to is this tab up here at the top, and it says events. If you click that, that will always have whatever the next live stream is. So it'll be Sunday nights and Thursday nights. Like right now, this is happening right now. So that's the one that's up. I will put the one in for the Thursday topic discussion for freaking flat earth theory for Thursday. So that'll be there. The other nice thing about it is you can just come in here and click the link and it'll open YouTube. So it's a beautiful little feature there. The welcome is just kind of what we do, how things are. There's some links there so you know where to go for what. Like I said, there's a little tutorial here for mobile. If you're going to be on mobile, which I assume is most people, it's very, very simple. Announcements is only super important stuff. I do not flood you guys with anything. That basically it's just me posting the poll most of the time for the week. FAQ is links, blah, blah, blah. This stuff up here is just kind of like general home-based type stuff. And then this is where most everything will happen. You got off topic. That's where everybody just kind of chats all the time. That's always pretty much rolling. Theology, culture and news, conspiracy theories, all the flat earth people. That's where you want to live. And then Bible, things that have to do with the Bible. The library is obviously just books, talking about books, recommending books, things like that. As I said before, you don't have to pay anything to be in there. If you choose to donate anything, then you have access to the green section. It's just extra added stuff. I try to put stuff in there. Mikkel is now putting some daily stuff in there too, which is just cool. But more or less, that's just if you're trying to support. You don't miss anything by not putting any money into this. It's all free. It will always be free. The prayer section is another real big thing, and we're about to go into that because we're going to end. So we're going to do a quick prayer and then get out of here. You can request prayer. When you do that, you can either request publicly or privately. Privately comes to me only. Nobody else sees it. Publicly goes to everybody, and then I read it on the stream. That's how that works. So there's the whole prayer section there. This is the live stream section. Right now, a few people in there. Thursdays, that will be open so that, again, you can actually talk and be a part of the conversation. At least I hope, because that is my favorite part about it. Sunday, we don't do it so much just because Enoch right now is kind of heavy and it's just harder to discuss. But if you wanted to come on, I'm down for you to come on. Just let me know when you first get in YouTube, and we'll make some time for it. And then the bottom there is just like fun stuff: tattoos, adventure, pets, furry things, memes, food, all that good jazz. All right. Let me get the prayers up, and then we will be out of here. Man, I really need to wear glasses because I can't see anything on that screen. Gosh. All right. I don't think there's too much right now. Okay, those are old. Cool. Okay. All right, so this one is actually I put this in here, and this is important. So I requested prayer for a few people in the Discord who I chose to keep anonymous. I'd like to add prayer for a few of our members here. I'm going to keep them unnamed because I don't have permission to share their details or names. One member is struggling with stability. They need God to move on an inner self level to provide a stable outlook on life, themselves, and their vitally important role in their family's lives. I pray that God does that directly, but if not, he provides someone in their life to help them work through the things causing instability. The individual is really, really important to myself, and I value them more than they understand. They have the kindest heart, which is 100% true. Always cause people to smile, which is also 100% true. And they dreadfully faithful to learning more, digging deeper, and bettering themselves. Also, one more person, this user also provides immense value whenever they do pop in here. I miss having them around, whether it be through like chat or live stream or just personal calls between them and I. They are also wildly faithful and wildly just totally driven to trying to do what God wants them to do, even at their peril sometimes, even at self-sacrifice sometimes. The perseverance of them is just is incredible and admirable, and I've got a lot of love for both of them. So keep them in your prayers for what they're going through, and if they choose to share anything publicly, then cool. But otherwise, just pray anonymously for them. We also got Danny, who I don't think ever showed up tonight. Danny is requesting prayer for family of his close friend. He said we're good to share it. He wants to ask anybody and everybody to pray for his close friend's son, Moses. Great name, strong name. He murdered an older man that had been preying on his 14-year-old sister in order to protect her. I'm not condoning his behavior, but he's only 16. Good God. And they're going to try him as an adult for first-degree murder. He's a great kid, super loyal, obviously, and intelligent, but had a dark childhood. His whole family can use prayer as well, especially his mom, Rachel. And then we've got Jen. Please pray for my mom. I just got off work and called to see if my parents were home so I could go visit. My dad said they were in the ER. They hadn't called to tell me. Mom woke up this morning not being able to move her legs. Oh, man. My dad had called the ambulance to pick her up. They don't know yet what's wrong. She has feeling. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm dumb. Your typing was fine. She has feeling back in her legs, but apparently numbness in her legs and dizzy spells have been going on for a while, and she hadn't told anyone until she was unable to walk this morning. So keep Jen's mom, keep both her parents in your prayers, but mom, obviously, who's the one going through it. And then I think I saw Jen, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I think I saw that there's going to be an MRI. So pray for the outcome of that goes well. Tattoos, pray for tattoos, Shannon? I must have missed something. So pray for that. That's serious stuff, man. That's scary, especially that they didn't tell you. I'm sorry they kept that from you. Well, hopefully that all goes well. God, beyond that, we just want to pray for culture in general. More than anything else, that's kind of where my focus is. Culture is absolutely disturbing and disgusting and horrid and painful and just downright sad to look at. We had a really interesting talk about prayer on Thursday. I pray that everybody in this group takes a little bit of time to kind of inventory how they pray. I personally pray very just bluntly, and I mean, you know that because I pray to you, and I'm very bold with my words, and I hope that doesn't bite me in the ass later on in life. But I prefer the very authentic approach and just talking to you like a father, because that's kind of what I see that you are. That's theologically what I believe you to be in a spiritual sense. So I just pray that everybody in this group who is trying to seek higher learning, trying to seek deeper understanding of you and of spirituality and just what else is out there beyond the physical world, that people try to really, really self-inventory how we're praying. Am I praying like a robot? Am I praying the way a pastor showed me to pray? Am I praying in a way that Sunday school raised me to pray? Because in most cases, we end up praying in a very systematic way when we do that. And the best way I like to think about it is like if my daughter came to talk to me, to confide in me, to ask me questions, to complain to me, whatever, I wouldn't want it to be done in a robotic, systematic way. I'd want it to be genuine. I'd want it to be authentic. I'd want her to be able to feel comfortable breaking down or swearing sometimes, or like whatever needs to happen. Just authenticity, just from the heart, who they are, not putting on a face, just genuine. So I pray everybody here who is desiring to know more, be deeper, be more authentic of a Christian, of somebody of faith. I pray that prayer, because we just talked about it, is something that everybody here kind of takes some time to really reflect on. How we're praying, how we're talking to God, and not being a robot, not being systematic. You are who you are. You know how we are during every day. I'm not going to be who I am, which is blunt and just Joe all day long. And then the minute I start to talk to you, I'm going to be, Pastor Joe. I'm not that. And I pray that everybody else here, if they are doing that, moves away from that. You see them all day. You know who they are. They can come to you as they are. This is not a show. We're not on a stage talking to God. Please be with culture, though. Please be with people who are confused. Please be with people who are in pain. Please help Christians specifically learn how to deal with people who are confused in a better way rather than attacking them. Show them compassion, show them love, show them some kind of understanding. There is a line. The line needs to stay there. It needs to exist. It needs to be very firm. But the love, the compassion, the understanding, and the care can exist in spite of the line. Praise all in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. It's time to eat. It's time to eat, guys. Time to eat. Not being pathological. Boom. Yes. Well said. Redacted. I like that YouTube says redacted if somebody deletes their comments. It's like a covert document from the CIA. It's been blacklined. This comment was redacted. Yeah, the prayers are heavy, guys. So too, with that, when you have a few minutes during the day, go into the public prayer channel and just read them. That's why they're there, to be prayed over. It's not just the prayer team that does that. Like, everybody should take 5 minutes out of your day, 2 minutes out of your day to go read through the prayers and do the praying. This is the team sport. Prayer is a team sport. All right, I think I'm all caught up. We're good. All right, y'all. So the poll's already up, apparently, because I was way ahead of the game this week, shockingly. So if you have not voted, but I think no matter what, we're doing Flat Earth because it blew everything else out of the water, which just says a little bit about our group here. What made second place? LGBTQ part 2. Okay. Katie's dying to do that. We got to give it to her soon. She's dying to get on that LGBTQ part 2. Maybe next week we'll do it, and I won't run a vote because I know she's been sitting around for like a month and a half just dying for it. We got to give it to her. So we'll see. Can you trust the Navy's provided cartography? They have incentive to hide the idsness. Gordon, you got to get in Discord because I feel like it's a better platform for you to long form put out these things you're trying to get out. Because I'm very interested in what you're saying, but none of it is clicking. And I think it's because you don't have enough room to type something truly coherent and then explain, because you're talking about things that I don't know about. So I hope you get in Discord. And if you do, and you do explain some of the things you've touched on tonight, please tag me in it so that I can see it. Because I'm very interested in whatever is happening in your brain right now, but I just feel like it's not connecting because of the the small amount of text you are allowed to do in YouTube. And because apparently your keyboard is worn out too. No, but it kind of feels sometimes that the Lord of Spirits is an excellent cooker. Put us on this slow cooker along all these ingredients for our souls to be well cooked, strengthened, and in the end, that is so good. That's so good. That's so good. Oh, I love you, Mikkel. You're the man. Yeah, we need Gordon to give. You need to go in there and you need to type a real big long post about what it is you're trying to talk about. You have 100% piqued my interest, and now I feel like I'm getting robbed of something very interesting. So I really hope we see you over there. All right, but it is 7:15, which is right on time. I said 7, so now it's 7:15. So now we're actually gonna get off. I love you guys. I'll talk to you throughout the week, and then Thursday, hopefully see everybody. Oh, Mystic, just in time to be done. Girls, just in time to be done. Mystic, we love you. We miss you. We remember the days where you were here and you were talking crap. Good days. Good times, Mystic. We love you. All right, guys, I love you. I'm getting off. Everybody have a great week. I'll see you all on Thursday.